out of terminal, let's do the following. Okay, let's create a project just for this demo. So you can say iPhone new, okay, on your terminal. Okay, you know what? This one is not sorted out yet. Okay, do it from the web. You can do from the terminal. iPhone new. Okay, the normal website there. Log into your credential. Okay, so now let's say test tuples. Test tuples. Okay, and then submit. Okay, it's gonna give you a zip and save that somewhere. For example, you might save it under desktop and then your 3311 workspace, for example, right? Okay, just do it over there. Okay, done. And then go to your desktop and to wherever it is stored. EECS3311. Okay, and then you should see the zip file over there, test tuples, right? Unzip it. Okay, so now we are almost ready. So now we can say eStudio or 1905, test tuples, .ecf. Okay, open iPhone Studio, and we're going to compile that. Okay, let's make sure. Okay, while it is compiling, I want to explain very quickly the syntax for tuples. It's actually quite easy to understand, but there are two variants for the tuples. You can think about tuples as like a very accommodating array. You can store, usually in a single array, you can only store a single type, like array of integer, array of string. But for tuples, you can store different types into the tuple. Okay, so now the easiest way for you to define a tuple, let's say talk about decoration. For decoration, there are two kinds. Either you can say, I can say T is of type tuple. Okay, and normally you have to tell how many elements do you want to have in each tuple. I can simply say the first element should be a string. And notice that when you only give a type, you should really separate it by comma. And then after that, you might say integer. And as many types as you like. So each tuple has exactly two elements there. Okay? Another way to do it is what you see in Lab 1. You can actually give names to each element in the tuple for easy access later. Number two, you can say, let's say this is T1. If you say T2, I can say tuple over here. I still want to have string followed by integer, but now I can say the string refers to some name, and the integer refers to some ID, for example. I can say name, colon, and then string. Now, in this case, if you're including the name of the field, you have to put semicolon as opposed to comma. Okay, that's a syntactic thing you gotta notice. Semicolon followed by maybe ID, colon, integer. Okay, there are two ways to declare the tuple. You see the second way in your Lab 1. I will do something very similar to help you. That's about decoration. How do you use it? Okay. To use it, for number one, you can say T1, use it like an array. Once you have created that, you can say T1.item add. So indices also start with 1. If I want to get to the first one, I can say item 1. Or I can say T1, like array brackets notation, and then a position 1. Okay? Okay, not too bad. What about the second one? The second one will be more pleasant to use. Let's say you already created T2. You can simply say T2.name and also T2.id. All you got to make sure is you check what should be the name of the fields over here so the compiler would know about it. Any questions? It's a very quick overview of the syntax. Are we okay?
T1 plus item 1, what does it mean?
So T1, the item 1 here means you given a tuple T1, and then you want to get item at position 1.
Or position 1.
In this case, this will be position 2, right? The integer. Yeah. What do they mean? Okay, basically T2 here is a tuple, right? I want to get to the field that stores the string. right? And also, I can also get to the field ID that stores the integer. You don't. Oh, you can either give the index or you can give the name. Either way. So for the orange version over here, you can also say t2.item. That's no problem. You can also say 1. So these two notation here are completely equivalents. The second one, you will say t2.id, or you can say t2.item at position 2. How about we try that in iPhone Studio? I just want to give you a quick overview. Yes, question? Nope. So basically, if you say, let's say for T2 here, right? If you already say T2 at position 2, for example, so what would be its type? T2, first of all, is a tuple. And then you say go to position 2. Position 2 would just be the integer. So this is actually an integer. So if you simply say T2 at position 2 dot ID, no. Right? That's not good. Okay. Okay, let's try that out. It's actually not too bad. Okay. You got something, I don't think you got anything called tuple in Java. You maybe got pair, but you only got 2 elements in the pair. But for tuple, you can have as many elements as you like. Okay, okay, let's now do iPhone Studio quickly. Okay, if you go back to the test tuples project there, let's again go to tests. Go to test example. And again, let's just clean T1 up to T3. Okay, let's only leave out the stuff that's clean. Okay, T0, let's say basic tuples. Okay, let's define some local variable. Of course, the variable may be a parameter or be an attribute, right? Doesn't matter. Let's do the simplest one. If I say T1 over here is going to be a tuple and then string, comma, integer. Because in this case, I'm not giving the name of the fields, so just comma. On the other hand, for T2, I can say tuple over here, and now I want to give some name of the each field. I can say name is the first one, string followed by a semicolon, and then ID integer. Okay, make sure everything compiles. Okay, so now let's try. How do you create a new tuple? I'll show you different ways. The easiest way, you can say T1 is simply assigned to tuple. The tuple notation is square brackets rather than angle brackets. Square brackets, the first one should be a string. I can say Alan, and his ID is 123, for example. Okay, as easy as that. Now, after this, how can we get access to it? I can say result is simply T1.item at position 1. That should be a string, has the same content as Alan. And I can say T1.item at position 2. That should be an integer, which is 123. Okay, I'll show you more. You can also say T1, you'll see the bracket notation, like indexing notation. And index 1 is simply Alan, and then you can say T1 at position 2 is 1, 2, 3. Okay, what? Yes, thank you. I forgot. Thank you very much. Okay, everything compiles, and then we're going to check it. Okay, before I do that, because I'm going to have multiple tests, so I'll say check result and compile, and then run workbench system. What do I have over here? Did I? Oh, Alan. Okay. Okay, let's try again. Yeah, everything passed. Okay, let's do the second one quickly. Okay, and then I can also move on to array. The second one over here, I'm going to show you a different way of creating the tuple. Now I can say create just T2. So if you look at the tuple class, I encourage you to explore a little bit further. If you go to the tuple class, you will see under the create class, there is something called default creates. It's almost like a default constructor in Java, which means when you say create T2, that'll be it. You don't have to say create T2.make. You don't have to. Oh, that'll be it. Okay? So now, how can we create new elements for T2? You can say T2 at position 1, which is the name, right? That's position 1. That one is simply assigned to, let's say, Mark. And T2 at position 2. That one is assigned to there should be an integer. So 2, 4, 6. Okay, so now let's do some check. So now I can say result is assigned to. So I'll do something very similar to this. I'll say, you can either say T2, the item at position 1 is mark. Okay. And T2, the item at position 2 is 246. And, okay, I'll show you all the possibility. T2 at position 1 is mark. And also T2 at position 2 is 246. And now you can do more, simply because we declare the name of the field over there. So let's do more. So now you can say T2 dot, you can see dot name. If it shows you in the compiler, the code completion menu. Okay, the name should be mark. And T2 dot ID should be equal to 246. Okay, that'll be it. Okay, compile. Good. And let's run the test. Okay, everything's good. Any questions about tuples? Yes.
What if you have more than like one pair? Like, so if you have another pair that says Jack and 4, 5, 6 or something.
You want to add another pair?
Yeah.
Okay, so yes. So what we are talking about right now is just a single tuple. So the next topic will be, what if you have an array of tuples? How do you do that? I'm going to talk about it. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about this very quickly. Okay. So now, how can we create an array of tuples and get something from there? Okay, let's now create a new test. So T1, Boolean test, comments, T1, so test array of tuples. Okay, make sure, first of all, you put T1 over here as well. Add Boolean case, agents T1. Okay, let's see what we can do. Let's say this. Let me declare a new, let's say, tuple array, TA. Okay, it's going to be an array where the elements is simply just a tuple. And each tuple has the first field being the name, string, semicolon, and the second one being ID, integer. So you can see pretty much similar, except that now I have a collection of such tuples, right? Now, and then I want to have another array over here. I want to have, let's say, name array, NA. Okay? I want to somehow to say, once I get the TA, how can I extract all the names from there? So this might be useful for your lab 1. Okay? So now I can simply say array of just string. Okay? I want to see how I can extract all the names. First of all, how do we create TA? I'll show you the easiest way. You can say it's assigned to angle brackets, double angle bracket is for array. Each one of them will be a tuple, right? So that's kind of the syntax, kind of nice syntax. Let's just make it up. Let's say Alan, 1, 2, 3, Mark, 2, 4, 6, Tom, okay, and then 3, 6, 9. Okay, that's a TA. Okay, I wouldn't cover the array part because that one you know pretty well. So that would be the tuple array. So now, how do we check it, right? I'll just show you some things. You can say result is TA at position 1. What would be the type for TA at position 1? It's a tuple, right? The first one. Good. And now I want to get its name. How do I get it? Dot name, exactly. Good. Dot name. Of course, if I didn't give you the field names for the tuple, you can say dot item, position 1. That will always work. Dot name, and that should be equal to Alan. Okay, just make as an example. And also TA, what about at position 3 dot ID? What should that be? TA at position 3 should be a tuple. The last tuple, right, should be 369. Good. Okay, and then let me just make sure this works. And then I'm going to move on to the last loop I want to show you. Let's see. I may have created something that clashes with the, let me see this. If I try to compile, local entities has the same name as a feature of the class. It seems like I cannot choose T1. Oh, I see. The reason is, might be a nice error to notice, even though I didn't intend that. You see, I call my tuple one here called T1. My test is also called T1. They clash, right? Can I cheat by saying that's T2? T3, yes, because I got T1 and T2, yeah. It's not a very good workaround, but you can do it much more nicely. Unknown identifier here, of course, I should say T3 here, right? Okay, good. Okay, so now let's try. Okay, everything passed. Final thing. How do we loop through the array of tuples and extract all the names? How do we do that? Well, you can either use a cross loop or you can use a from until. How about we use a cross? Okay. So now let's try that. What we can do is so now let's say check result n across. Okay, that's the by default. That's the one. So this one is not going to return a Boolean, just going to do something for you. Okay, so before this, before I try that, I should really initialize NA, right? Otherwise you'll be on call on void targets. So before that, I will simply just create NA dot make empty, let's say. And then I'm going to go across the tuples array as. So now let's change S to is. So what would be the type now for T? Basically, when you say you want to go across a collection, in this case, it's an array of tuples. The type for the dummy variable should be the type for each member. In this case, what would be the type for T? Tuple, right? Okay, I'll make a notes for you. Since TA is an array of tuples, T is of type of its members, in which case it will just be a tuple. Okay, so now what we can do is you can just simply just try to force into NA. Okay, you can simply say NA dot force. And now, any suggestion? What should I force into the array for each iteration? T dot name, right? Okay. T dot name. And then you should know this pretty well, so just go to na.count plus 1. Okay, so now after this, let's try to check it. Result is assigned to first of all, dot count should be equal to 3. And NA at position 1 should be Alan. And NA at position 2 should be Mark. And NA at position 3 should be Tom. Okay, everything compile. Okay, let's try. Okay. Any questions before I stop the recording? Any questions? Yeah.
You have a tuple which holds 3 elements or 4 elements?
Yes, so for tuples, you are not constrained as to how many elements you may have. So for your programming purpose, you may have maybe a tuple with 10 elements if you wish. Yeah. Any questions? Okay, good. Oh, maybe.
So
Yeah.
Can we not use like a T1 first of all name? Can we use T11?
T1.
First way.
Across with the index, not with.
Yeah, you can also go across the index. That's okay. Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay, I'll stop the recording and then I'll walk around to help you.